My big plans continued. This is chapter 1, the search for land. Indeed, we're making progress on this project, and I'm going to keep you guys updated every step of the way. And I want to share with you guys the ideas because once we have a model that works, or at least a model that I am partaking in to creating this project, I will share that with you guys, how exactly I went about in doing this process. I know it's inevitable. It's just going to get done one way or another, and there's a lot of different ways to go about doing that, which I'm going to share in this video, at least a lot of things I've heard. Now, don't hold me to it, and I'm not a lawyer. Don't take legal advice from me or whatever, that jazz, right? Legal disclaimers. But I'm going to be sharing with you different strategies that I've heard from others in regards to getting land. So whether you are someone new to my channel or not, this could be very helpful for you. And I know it's not Christmas anymore, but Merry Christmas. Anyways, so go to the county assessor office or the recorder of deeds office or the town hall, mention the Preservation Act, and ask for preservation land or reclaimed land that can be donated to us as a study so we can see how long it takes to make a preserve liable for food. And you can't have any permanent structures, and it can't be nonprofit. Now, apparently this is one of the strategies that I heard about. I don't know if anybody out there knows what I just said. In fact, you might want to rewind the video in case you're like, what does that even mean? Now, you'd have to make like a one-page proposal and maybe, talk to the people at the town hall, and different town halls across different states and the country might say different things. But yeah, it's called the Preservation Act. So that's like one way you can get land, but you just can't have any permanent structures on it. Another strategy that I heard was, well, you can just make an advertisement for landowners, property owners, and you may even want to say, hey, we're doing this seminar, or we'll do a free evaluation of your land and see, hey, could we get you inspired to do a food forest? Because there's a lot of people out there who have land or property that they aren't using, or people who they want to grow food or they want to do stuff, and there's a lot of people that like this idea, this vision, one way or another. And so you can connect with property owners, and maybe, you can use their land, or you can work up something. Who knows? I know I've connected with local farms that also can potentially help bridge connections because they're used to the area, they're used to the soil. They can help you find other land. You can maybe do a partnership or some sort of collaboration. This is all in the works, right? There's also another idea called adverse possession. I'm still learning different things like this. I'm just mentioning to you these ideas straight off the top. And then, of course, you could just buy the land, search for land near me. You can have realtors help you as well, and just see where you can buy the land. Of course, it's going to be more expensive in certain areas than others. The area that I'm looking at can be pretty expensive. Now, I made a brochure for what exactly my vision entails. Now, if you didn't watch the first video of this series now, because this is chapter 1, the search for land, you could watch that, basically me going over this whole vision. But I also made a brochure, so I'm putting that on the screen for you. You can see it has everything basically that I planned, even with a little part that says the benefits of a food forest. And what was my inspiration? It was Jim Gale and Food Forest Abundance and what he's trying to do. I also heard a lot about living trusts, land trusts, and LLCs. This is going to be part of the process. I'm going to be talking about this with people and learning more. If you have tips and suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. I make videos like this sharing with you guys my progress for a reason, because I want to hear from you. I know I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, and there's people who've done this for many more years. I've been studying nature my whole life. I don't know anything really about the man-made system. I go into these conversations with people, and they're mentioning trusts and assets and property and all these words and different concepts that I can look at in a philosophical lens. Like, yeah, trust, I trust you, but it means something totally different in economics. I also use the word moral suasion in philosophy, but the word moral suasion is actually an economics concept as well. So totally different definitions. And those definitions I have no clue about because school did not teach me anything. Not really a surprise there, but if you have any tips or advice, or even places where I can easily learn all those concepts, you can share that with me. One thing I learned recently, which David Rodriguez and I found quite powerful to look into, was 508c1As. Now, this is like a type of organization that you can set up to basically create your own type of church. And so, another alternative even to the common law assemblies and their whole lawful side of things is having this. And this can bridge a lot of benefits for you and what you're trying to do potentially. So if you know about that, feel free to let me know. There's a lot of people who also contacted me recently who are engaged in working on those types of organizations. Now, finally, just those were the updates for now, right? There's the L2 showcase, the Liberator 2 showcase, and that is basically the project that I announced where you send me a 1-minute video. It's your answer to the question, what is the most important thing, or what is most important in general, that people need to know. And I've gotten a lot of videos from you guys, so thank you for your contributions. Anyone out there, you can still contribute 1-minute video. Very simple. Any camera, okay, on that question. What is most important that people need to know? Just let me know. You know, it could be from your unique perspective, your experience, and if you still want to schedule time with me to talk about it, you can. So don't worry, that project is still ongoing. In fact, we've gotten so many videos though, so you do want to stay tuned because that might be starting up relatively soon. So be sure to send in your video for that. There's all the updates for now. Of course, it's pretty late at night, and I want to make sure I do these updates even if it does get pretty late, and I'm working on other videos and other projects as well, because it's important to me that I stay transparent about everything that's happening here. And also, I don't want my vision to be the only vision. I want to include other people in this as much as possible because, again, I do not know it all, and a lot of people are working towards this. A lot of people want this. So when there's investors getting involved, you know, I know that they're investing because they want to be self-sustainable. They care about freedom as well. But I also need to pay attention to this business side of things that can get complicated at times, right, where people expect things of what's going to happen of the project. And so all this needs to be worked out, right? What do I say here? What happens here? What's the business structure? What's the deeds restrictions and the permits and all this? It'll all get worked out in time, but we're going to take this step by step. I'm going to try to do research every step of the way, but you guys might know some things that I don't. And this community has so many intelligent people. I'm so proud to know you people. So thank you for you. And I'm going to probably sooner than later actually set up a Zoom meeting, the one that I mentioned in the first video. I'm going to probably bring people together sooner than I think, because I want to make sure that we all sort of start thinking about what we're going to do here and what we're going to really put into this land money-wise and resource-wise, okay? So even I have friends from different states, and I have no problem with them just sharing their wisdom and being there because they care about the cause and what we're trying to do, and I appreciate that, even though they don't live here at all. So let's get that going. You may live in a totally different country, but I'm sure you also are maybe a little inspired to do what we're trying to build here in Florida all across the state, which is food forest, abundance, you know, happiness, inspiration, empowerment. It's all there. And yes, there's going to be some legalese and stuff in the process of getting there, but when enough people start partaking in these projects and food forests start becoming a more abundant thing because you now have hotspots that are sharing this big idea and giving that inspiration that made me start this project, you know, now you have people growing food, you have freedom, and you have survival, you have preparation, you have a way to barter, you have economy, you have an environment, you have everything, right? I talk about this in my video, how food forests are like the ultimate solution. So I do wholeheartedly believe that. I even run into natural practitioners who talk about medicine, and they have a lot of things that they're growing, different medicinals. And I'm like, well, you know, if we're worried about losing these medicinals, we're worried about there not being enough people who are taking these natural medicinals, what if we're growing them, right? And now people directly learn what they are, they directly see what they are, and they're of the highest quality. They're of the most local in season, and it's supporting the bees. It's supporting the local habitats. It's really encapsulating everything that my message is to be, which is nature is the answer. So never close your mind to any possibilities. This is why I talk to you and other people about what we can do. And I'm always going to open it up like that. As I move into different aspects of business, I'm never going to lose my soul and who I am, because I have this nature practice within myself. This sort of inner work, which again, why I like Jim Gale, and what he does is he meditates and he really thinks on his own thoughts, and well, really just lets his mind be free from all the thoughts so he can see that original oneness, that original reality behind it, again, what the Taoists call the uncarved block. Very important as you move into that world and you get a glimpse of what is happening as you directly involve yourself in that world even. Okay, so we could be a hermit and we could retire into the mountainside and into nature and not worry about the rest of the world. We could absolutely do that. Or we can go the path of Zhuangzi, right? The Chinese philosopher, which everybody says his name wrong anyways. It's like Zhuangzi, if you say it in Chinese correctly. But, you know, the guy lived within society without excluding himself from society. So he still lived with nature, however. And see, Lao Tzu, okay, of the Chinese Taoist philosophy, he left society. He went into nature and embraced it wholly. You know, Zhuangzi basically said, hey, you know, we can live with society, we can live with nature, we can harmonize the two. And that's why he really expanded upon those works and went really in detail with it. So I'm going to keep those teachings really close to my heart, and maybe it's a coincidence, I don't know. You know, you might say, Cory, what are you going to do, start a church because of the 508c1a idea? Well, listen, I can start a church, but I'm not going to be religious even still. You know, I'm not a religious person. And even sometimes I'll call myself spiritual or a deist, or somebody who studies Taoism or transcendentalism. I don't associate or put myself in a box, and I encourage nobody puts themselves in a box. We're in this for the truth. Okay? And we do recognize a higher authority, whether you call intelligence or natural law or God. Okay? It is there. And so we recognize the state's illegitimacy. We recognize the state does not have power over our lives. And really, we need to create that, embody that message. And that means putting it in action, which is why this project is so essential. And every time I do reflect on it and I do go into that meditative, natural state, I realize this is inevitable and I cannot really escape it. There's a reason why I felt that energy, that inspiration. And every time I really think about it, I do realize it's inevitable. Here's some of my notes that I wrote regarding this. The way I see it is that it's better sooner than later. Humanity seems to be reaching enough problems that call for nature in the slightest sense, certainly. If I don't grasp for the opportunity, the calling, what seems to be the abundant need and trend, I could not make possible what eventually would need to be made possible anyways. Nature coming to fruition is a process where we need a well-rounded approach, and I must do everything in my power to make it possible. This is not capitalism or entrepreneurship. It is not grabbing for money or trying to have a job. This is much more than that. You can call it the one great work, right? That's essentially what this is, and putting it into action more and more. I'm meeting people all across the country that are setting up projects like this. I'm not the only one. Okay, so it really is a grasp for opportunity, making possible what will be made possible anyways. But as land gets more expensive, as the world goes down all these problems, we can't wait necessarily. Okay, the world, yes, will probably remain, and nature will have its revenge on humanity one way or another. But we want to assist this process in trying to reduce harm done to humanity, trying to reduce all the chaos that is happening, and really start introducing order and abundance and beauty and care and all the things that we say we want. Right? There are requirements. We must put them into action. Thank you very much for watching. This is Cory Engelot. Nature is the answer.